that's all good. So in terms of like jumping the characters in, I usually like it's always tough to kind of put you on the spot to like say, so here's a great spot for my character to know your character and your character to know mine, and like we're all gonna like, pass these sheets around and say, here's how we know each other. In the end, like I feel like it's just more helpful to just sort of play the game and just say, all right, my character's gonna drop in either like at the start, or we're just gonna sort of happen across each other. So like, if we're just going to kind of start and say that any number of you who want to be in on it at the very start, say so. Otherwise, we'll just sort of drop you in and you'll just sort of show up in the intermediary. So would you prefer to start like everyone start together and just say that you sort of found each other through a monster hunting forum and say, you know what, we need this many people to try and figure this kind of thing out, because like usually hunters work in groups, maybe not usually more than 3, but sometimes a bigger job might take more people for less experienced hunters.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, so like Manny would probably have tried to find a group at first because they don't really know what monster hunting is necessarily.
Totally.
What it fully entails, but I like that idea.
Okay.
I don't know how it works with everybody else.
Yeah. What else we got?
I can see my character still like kind of being on the app and not knowing too much about how to approach it on their own. And then if there was like a post, I could see that there might have been a posting for people needed for this group, and that they're like, you know what, I'm gonna try it, and then kind of like a forum meeting or a group meeting.
Sure. And we'll say
yeah, I was gonna say Orchid will never tell you what led her to try to find a group, but in real life it's because she got her ass handed to her with the last monster. So she's thinking maybe she needs to team up with someone.
Yeah, still paying off the emergency bill.
Yeah.
Which is something I should mention. Like, yes, your characters are either local to like immediately in the area of Canada. A lot of your contracts are going to be across the border, and so like, yes, you'll need to like hop the border to get places, and then if you need the emergency room, you're paying out a premium, but they'll get you stable, and then they'll send you back home where you can actually like finish getting better, if that's a thing that needs to happen. It depends.
Okay.
But it'll be one of those things like incentive to not get hurt too much.
So we can't get travel health insurance.
Well, you can, but like if you have to explain why you're traveling, good luck.
That was ironic.
Tom doesn't know what that is in the first place, so.
Yeah. iHunt isn't exactly legal. It's also not illegal, because there's no laws written about killing monsters, obviously. So it's in this legal gray area. Although, if the cops show up and see you standing over a dead body with a knife, maybe that's a problem. If you're just standing over a pile of dust, well, you know what? Maybe you're going to be okay. We'll add 1 or 2 more people who want to be in on the first scene.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't
I'm good either way.
Right.
I don't mind, yeah.
Okay. You know what? I'm just going to start and basically say, okay, where's my page? Where's the thing? Here we go. It's chapter 1. So, you open up the iHunt app, which on the PDF, you can sort of see if you have the sample available. Where is the gig? What is iHunt? Here it is.
24.
If you go to page 24, like, you can open up this app, and you basically get a couple of choices, really. And then if you say that you don't want this this gig, it is gone forever. Generally, you only have like a choice between a couple of things. I only have one thing prepared for you, so there's only one thing available today. This is a 3-star hunt, which means that the monster is 3-star level. It's reserved for monsters or for hunters that are like at least slightly experienced, because you do 1-star, you're really just ending up fighting like a couple of gremlins or whatever you have you, or you're really just doing some archival work for some wizard. In terms of this, details are very sparse. It'll say corporate client seeking discreet handling of a dangerous former employee. Contact will be established upon acceptance of the agreement. No pay if handled recklessly, we'll say. That's all you have to go on. So of course you open it up, and we'll say a few of you are like gotten together in where do you think you would meet up?
Let's meet at a local coffee shop.
Sure. So you've got you're at a coffee shop, and here now I actually finally get to use the thing, the iHunty thing. So on Roll20, you're gonna see me typing some things with the text button, and it'll be on size 40. There we go. So you're in a coffee shop. Like that. And it will have 2 aspects of quiet place, and it's also smells really good in here. And those are 2 aspects that are like in play at the moment. Since it's the Rust Belt, this is going to be a campaign kind of like overarching aspect, which is too fucking boring. And those are things that you can like use to make things a little bit more helpful. If you want to actually roll for things later on, let me know, but mostly we're just going to sort of like role play it for now. So you hit the accept button on your iHunty app, and it will say, would you like to contact the client right now? Generally it's good form to do so.
Yes.
Absolutely.
As a group, yeah.
So it spins for a second, and this guy appears, and I'm just going to upload him.
They need to actually make the iHunt app. That would be so cool to play like interactive.
Someone offered to it, like it might end up happening. Here he is.
Hell yeah.
This guy. So I'm looking, yeah. he's a bit large. He seems like he's like definitely middle management type, just by like the way he's dressed, just his like his haircut and his age, like corporate kind of stuff. He sort of focuses the camera. It goes like close to his forehead for a second, and then sort of like goes back. He's like, hello. I see you've accepted this this contract.
Yes, we'd like to take this job.
All right, wonderful.
We're a group of experienced monster hunters.
That's exactly what we need. Okay. My name is Christopher. I'm representing a company here. I represent the. Where does it say? Did I write it down? Sorry. Here it is. I represent Patriot Transportation and Holding Services. Basically, one of our employees, we have reason to believe that he is a vampire. What we understand happened is that he went on a vacation about a month ago, returned, and he continued trucking after returning for a few days, and then he went missing in action. We couldn't contact him for a while, and then we started hearing reports of some people saying that they thought that some other truckers thought that they saw him in a different part of the route than he should be, and that he'd been acting very strangely, and his now we hear that there's like police investigating a series of murders along that direction, and we need this taken care of, and discreetly, absolutely discreetly, because if things came back to the company, if we ended up being responsible for anything further that might happen with this guy, we certainly can't have that. You must understand.
I understand. Discreet is my middle name.
Of course. So, if you would, yes, the payment. We are offering $7,000 for the removal of this. However you wish to do that is up to you. We do not care one way or another, as long as law enforcement is not involved with our holdings company. If you can do that, and us as well, if you can, not destroy his truck somehow, then you will get paid in full. That's our only term right now.
I want half first. Half up front. I think we all want that. Plus a contract.
Half up front. Well, that's one thing you do understand is, let's see. Pay is typically in iHunt is only for completion. And pay can decrease if you do what the contractor deems a poor job. But by and large, iHunt is fee for service only.
Well, we want a contract. There's no contract.
You're looking at it.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
These monster hunters need to unionize. This is a freelance job. This is a freelance job. They need to be protecting their assets. Otherwise, they're going to get screwed over so many times.
Is this in character?
No. But Luna is thinking this.
Yes.
And she's kind of rolling her eyes at this guy.
Most hunters absolutely have thought this at least twice every contract.
What's the area, and what was he last seen wearing?
So he was last seen wearing a flannel and blue jeans, and along the 400 series highways.
And what did he look like?
Relatively middle-aged, like 50s plus, and where is he? 50s plus, middle-aged, salt and pepper hair, sort of a generally slightly shaved goatee.
Where was the last murder? Do you know?
Along a service station, heading north along the 400.
By which city?
I don't actually have city names yet. Hang on.
Oh, sorry.
Where's the thing? It's slightly north of Lime Valley.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? I think I'm done.
Yeah. The last sightings, but you've already covered.
Okay.
I'm good.
Was there a time frame?
Time frame is as soon as possible, but we will accept nothing longer than 3 more days. We don't want there to be any more murders. You understand
hear
we're...
you.
Sorry?
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
You understand our contract time frame is of the utmost importance. We don't want there to be any more murders, and certainly we don't want there to be any more involvement with law enforcement as well. You must understand that our spending on this is precautionary, so that way we don't have to spend more on lawyers later.
Okay.
So if you could have this wrapped up within 3 days, that would be ideal.
Well, we'll contact you when the job is done.
Mm-hmm. All right. So in terms of like showing the completion of the job, generally that just takes a little bit of proof. All you really need is like a bit of like a photo evidence of that the person is either subdued or dead. And in terms of like, you don't need any kind of like video evidence of that. You just need to sort of, they take you at your word, you take them at their word, because if it comes back to you, then they can just sort of log in and give you a 1-star review for not completing it right. So, yeah. Just gonna delete him.
Do we at least get to rate the clients?
Clients generally can be rated, yes. However, the tricky aspect of it is that most clients are single client, like single use clients only, because you can understand most people that would need to deal with a monster only ever have to deal with them once. People that are looking for monsters are the ones that actually, have to deal with this kind of thing more often than once.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Luna's gonna rate the clients anyways.
Yep.
If they piss her off.
Sure. All right. So what's your plan of action and your general thought on how you're going to track this person down, or if you know anyone that you think might be able to help you?
We don't have a name. Just a
Oh,
description.
sorry. You do have a name for this guy. This is...
I'm really good with Instagram and Facebook, so I'll help on that front.
Sure. You've got Brandon Nathaniel Fig.
Oh, I can't remember what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, would we know how to kill a vampire?
Well, that would be a question for contacting the one of you who knows the most about the occult. Who would that be, do you think?
My occult knowledge is fair.
Fair. It's fair. Do you know anyone who's like done these kinds of like hunts and such before?
I'm in a coven, so maybe someone else knows.
Maybe.
I don't know. I just closed the room.
Good.
I mean, I can do the research.
John Quincy Morris has good occultist knowledge.
John would be a good choice. Let me open him up.
I have none.
Shane.
Yeah, I'm fair. It's been a long time since I've had to hunt a vampire specifically.
Sure.
And my skills are still rusty.
Yeah.
So I can assist, but I'm not going to be excellent at this.
Sure thing. So let's say that you give John a ring, and you contact him. However, you actually know this guy. Hunters kind of stick in the same circles. They know who each other are for the most part. So you can contact each other relatively quickly, especially with hunter forums and such. So that brings up John. What do you think? What do you think of the contract? The details that you've gotten.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
What do you think of the details for the contract so far? Like, are you wary? Do you think it's this is kind of a risky job so far?
Luna.
Anyway, but something about this seems off for some reason.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Could also just because he just woke up, but
right. So in that case,
Aryn, you were gonna say something?
I didn't realize who Raven was talking to, so
sorry,
no, it's fine.
I was asking John, the amateur hunter. All right. So in that case, I'm just going to delete those and say that you're out of the coffee shop. And you probably head to either like a library or like a wherever John's been staying. Because whatever would be a good
John staying.
Yeah, whatever good place to be to actually look for some information.
I want to hit up a library.
Sure.
Okay.
You can hit up John.
All right. I figure the library is going to take less time. So with that in mind, where are you?
This is out of character. What was the name? Where did you say it was north of?
North of Lime Valley.
Lime Valley. Okay.
Okay then, Maddie. You want to head up a library. What do you want to do? Hello? Is this working?
Oh, sorry, I was on push to talk.
Oops.
I've been talking the whole time.
Oh, no.
I imagine the library has, I don't know, the hunter's got to have memoirs.
Some, yeah.
So I'm gonna hit up memoir of somebody who's hunted a vampire.
Sure.
And read their description on it.
Sure. We'll say this is one.
Can I want? Is it possible to invoke an aspect to make it go quickly in terms of?
Yeah, I don't remember the rules quite yet for montages and things like that, but I think it's good to just basically introduce the idea of rolling for you. When you're rolling in anything in this game, you're using 4 fate dice, and if you scroll on the left here, there's a little bar with the dice. Fudge is fate and fudge are related systems, so they're both the same in terms of their dice.
Is it a macro bar?
I do have a macro.
Because technically, in order for us to have access to the macro bar, we need to have character sheets. And you have to allow each individual macro to be assigned to our character sheet.
That is so weird. You don't need the macro bar per se. Can you go to the left and then use the?
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, on the fudge die.
How many am I rolling?
Pardon?
How many am I rolling?
4 of them. Pretty bad roll. But you said you were going to use an aspect?
I want to use my aspect cover to cover. Sure. I know books.
You know books.
Know how to read quick.
Okay. Since you're invoking your aspect, you would spend a fate point. We're not really going to play with fate points for the first session here. But you would spend that fate point and say, no, I don't like that. Reroll. You can either reroll
all of them?
You can either reroll or gain +2. If you get 3 minuses, it's generally better to reroll. So you can go ahead and reroll. Okay. You get -1. And then what's your occult skill? Here you are, Maddie. Occultist is
I got
1.
a +1, so 0.
Yeah. So in terms of how fate works, there's like the ladder of, here it is. 0 plus minus 0 is like a mediocre kind of thing. That's enough to like give you the very barest bones on like vampires drink blood. Vampires are undead creatures. Vampires have a weakness to sunlight, usually. You can kill a vampire by putting a stake through its heart. You know, stuff that everyone knows. We'll see if John Quincy Morris has any better luck here. Hey Shane, you're there?
Yeah, just a sec.
Sure.
Any macros at all?
So the dice are like on the side panel.
Yeah.
Looks like a D20.
Like with the map and background button and the help and docs button. Is that a timer? There you go. 40F. So that's 2.
And its occultist is 3.
Occultist is 3.
So
Means that you have a
5.
total of 5, which on the levels is superb. I would have probably accepted a +2 to like be reasonably good at like getting the right answer. And in this case, 5 gives you a you've succeeded with style because you've beaten it by 3. That means that you get to create a aspect for your knowledge of this vampire or of vampires in general. And that aspect has a free invocation on it, which means that you get to use that to give yourself later on a bit of a bonus to another roll. So what would you like to learn? What makes the most sense in terms of what you'd be looking for?
say that again.
What would you like to be learning? What are you looking for specifically here?
He more or less already knows how to kill them
Sure.
because he's done a couple in his time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mainly he's trying to figure out where it would go or what one would do after it was recently turned, most likely.
Right. Okay. So you're going on partially on intuition that this guy like recently became a vampire because you figure like he went on vacation and then he came back and then he's suddenly starting to kill people. So basically, in terms of like this kind of thing, is that when someone turns, like suddenly they're like a little bit infatuated with their power. They're like suddenly like, wow, I'm immortal. And like by and large, that's a little bit dangerous, especially for like a guy who's like always on the road, always trying to like get used to new situations. And then the trouble is that if someone hasn't fed for a while, they suddenly get very hungry, and then they become relatively ravenous for days on end. They cannot stop to do anything else except like hunt and feed. You figure it's possible that that's what happened to this guy. That if he'd been like eased into it in a safer situation, maybe he wouldn't have been one of these more violent types, one of these more risky situations of vampires.
Errol, yes.
Yeah. So you kind of figure that he's on the hunt. He's not just like gonna be like going on his daily job, but he knows his job. He knows the places that he knows his job. So he's probably still like staying at truck stops, but more or less he's not gonna be like looking for his loved ones or anything like that.
Small grace.
Pardon?
It's a small, nice.
Yeah, it's a small help in that situation. As you think he's probably going to be where he last was. Anything you want to do to prepare or go and investigate?
Route he was on.
He was on
Figure
the
out if there's any
400.
truck.
Oh, heading north. You don't really know exactly where, but you figure if you go to at least one of the truck stops, you can probably find people.
Luna wanted to use her witchy contacts to see if anyone could give us more information about killing vampires. Like, do we need a silver blade?
Okay. Sure. Roll. Would you like to like assume that you're using your aspect for this as well?
Yes.
You can actually decide that after you roll as well. So if you do really well, it doesn't really matter. So yeah.
Okay.
Make your roll and then use influencer if you have that kind of skill or something that's similar enough.
So I know you explained this, but how do I roll?
Yes. So it's on the left on the thing where the dice is, and then scroll down to fudge, and then roll 4 of those.
Okay.
Okay. So you got a 4 already, and then I've got your thing up here. We're gonna say occultist because that's something that you actually have. Gorilla would also be an option, but or maybe organizer, but either way. So you're going to add that with your 2 existing, because you have 2 on your occultist. And that would be 4 there. Say that's just a success. And they let you know that you don't necessarily need silver, but it can be good against some vampires. More powerful vampires tend to have more going for them, but they also have more weaknesses. Like, the old legends about running water and inviting a vampire in, or being like having a compulsion to count grains of sand or grains of rice that you've thrown. They're not the rule; they're more the exception. All vampires will like have a weakness to stakes in the heart. Most vampires will have a weakness to sunlight, and like the more they have, the more weaknesses they have. So this guy, being a relatively new one, probably won't have any kind of like extra weaknesses, but your witch friends say, you know what, we want to help you though, because we know it's been a long time since any of us have really gone on this kind of a hunt. So go with our protection, and they give you a small bundle of herbs that you can later use to like calm your nerves.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Luna's gonna wear her crystals as well.
Of course. All right. Is there any kind of preparation or things like that anyone else would want to do that's like above and beyond the usual kind of prep that you would do?
Jono's got defensive charms. He's going to use that because he's paranoid.
Sure. Make an occult roll. there you go. So that's a total of 2. Let's call it a success, and you'll sort of like have you've created an advantage. Like that's the kind of roll that you've done. And we'll say that's that you've made a temporary. I can't remember how it would roll, but it would probably be like some sort of a temporary boost later on to like defend you physically from like you've probably reinforced some of your jacket stuff with wards from against the undead. Pack some salt in the pockets. I'm not sure.
Pocket salt.
All right. Who drives?
I'll do it.
Or legally.
Who knows how to drive?
Right. That's more the question.
Okay.
Not like a driving skill, right?
There isn't actually. There's a. There it is. Why is this so small? There we go. So there you are. We're gonna add some aspects to this scene here. If you want to like shout out anything that you want to describe this with, I'm just going to call it a. We'll call it not congested, but like high speed, and we're gonna call it.
Kind of looks like evening traffic, like everybody's kind of coming home.
Rush
Rush
hour.
hour.
Rush hour, thank you.
Yeah.
We're so stupid. We should have asked for the license plate of the truck.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can contact him.
You can recontact him, and he would provide that with you.
Okay. We should talk to him and get the license plate and a description of the truck.
Sure. It is a. Where's my documents? Did I not have it? It's a white truck with sort of a silver back end, and it's got a specific license plate. I won't bore you with exactly what it is, but it's not like it's not a decked out truck with like lights everywhere or like decals or anything like that. It's a corporate truck.
Is it a like a Mack truck, or is it like a
It's a trailer flatbed.
trailer? Okay, thank you.
What kind of corporate truck? Is there a logo on it that might help us?
It would say the logo of the company, which is Patriot Transportation and Holding Services. They've got a pretty boring logo with like some sort of like Yankee Doodle hat.
So, is there something we can roll to keep our eyes out for the truck?
Not at the moment. I think most likely you'd probably end up going to look for the truck stop first, and then you'd look there.
Okay.